You know, what's crazy is that if I could actually rewind the clock back and think about some of the things when I was 20 years old, sometimes you have frustrations and stuff like that, and you don't understand what's going on. You don't have any idea what's happening in front of you. I started to take a moment and look at the game in a whole different kind of way that I didn't even realize. I realize now, but some of you young men might not be able to realize this right away. But the beautiful thing is that the shift is going to happen for many of you guys when you come to the realization that you have to start having this conversation with yourself. And that conversation that you've got to have has got to be a very, very impactful conversation. And these words that I'm about to tell you are it's the thing that's either going to make or break you in the game. And the words are simply that I had to look in the mirror and tell myself that I'm never going to be the problem. Sometimes women are going to leave your life and everything. And it was a great lesson that I learned that I wasn't the problem. And you're never the problem. It's just that you simply, there are just problems that you have to take care of. And once you're convinced that you are not the problem when it comes to relationships with women, you're going to be fine, gentlemen, okay? But here is the truth and everything like that most guys don't understand, that at the end of the day that there is nothing wrong with you at all, okay? And I had to realize that before I respond to a woman or think about what a woman is saying and think about what a woman is doing, that I had to actually look at my ability of who I am and rooted in what I am and embrace the kind of codes that I had to create for myself. I had to actually create the code. And as long as you guys can incorporate what I'm about to talk to you about into your life, you're going to have a huge change. The change is going to be different. It's going to be magical. And the first thing I had to realize for myself was actually this. I had to set the standard for myself first. And that means that I never waited for validation. I didn't wait for somebody's approval. The thing that I had to learn for myself when it came to me, one thought, one mind, one way, was basically that my self-respect that I have for myself is a non-negotiable. I couldn't negotiate my respect. But I also, in that, I had to trust in myself, and the trust that I had in myself was absolute. See, the thing is that attention to me, remember, a woman has to gain my attention. She's got to be worth my time and worth my attention. And why I always say that to you guys out there is because attention is a privilege, It's nothing that she should get right off the bat, and nobody else can set that value on themselves but me. And once I started to realize that I could do that, it changed that, because when you actually set the standard, gentlemen, you become magnetic, because you are no longer looking for validation, and that's the thing that's going to help you grow. The next thing I had to realize and look to myself was my value and who I am and what I stood for. All those things was a non-negotiable, man. A lot of men actually unfortunately fall into these problems because they're so busy trying to bend to please somebody. But as a man, I live by the code. The value for my life, for me, is always going to be crystal clear on who I am and what I want. And every action that I'm going to have for myself is always going to be aligned with who I am. That's just how the game works. It's just how you see the game and how you move. And I'm never going to compromise my standard for anybody or anything. And once you can do that, when you can internalize these things, women themselves instinctively recognize in you that there's something rare inside of you. There's something in you because you are the only person that she has ever met in her life that actually is not trying to seek her approval or her validation. And that's so cool. And then when you can do that, it's going to actually trigger something else for you guys to realize at the end of the day, I command my life. You know, I don't request it. I command it. I command everything that I do. And it is because I am always going to respond in a powerful way. That's just what I am. I'm not, again, I don't ask for permission for myself. I'm going to lead myself with a little bit of confidence. And it's just the code that I live by. And if you can actually live by these codes and everything like that, you're going to have clear communication. You're going to take ownership of your decisions and everything like that. And you're going to have mastery over all your responses and everything. And that's the thing that women are just not used to when it comes to men having those things. But the thing that you guys don't know is that women do feel excited around a man who operates from certainty, gentlemen. You have to be certain of who you are. You have to be, because your leadership and who you are as a man is so important for that woman that needs your guidance. It is your guidance that's going to do this. And last but not least, one of the most important things to me was emotional control is power. And not just emotional control, dick control is power. The true essence of who I am as a man is in the discipline that I have for myself and how I move and how I operate. See, what I learned in the game is that emotions only serve as signals, but they're not dictators. My feelings are not going to dictate what I do. I'm going to dictate what I do at all times, because that is going to give me peace of who I am and what I am. And there's nothing wrong with observing what you're going through, but you should never allow that thing that you're going through to hold you back. And that's where, unfortunately, for a lot of guys, being negative and all other stuff hurts them from being able to master that dick discipline. Because once you can master that thing, it is going to actually turn women on. And that's the thing most people don't understand in the game and all this other stuff. See, the thing is that the thing about women that we have to understand, if they don't know a man that lives by the codes. And as long as you are one thought, one mind, one way, and you can actually live by these codes on a daily basis, you change differently because they change the woman's interpretation. Remember, what I am showing you guys and what's different, what I'm showing you guys, at the end of the day, we want to change her reality. But in order to change her reality, we've got to be able to change our interpretation of how we see our reality. And as I was a student, these are things that I wish I knew. But now that you guys are young now, and you're hearing this from the old head and everything, the question is that, are you going to wait another day, another week, another hour, or are you going to take the next 10 minutes of this conversation and make the ultimate change for yourself? I can't force the change on you. The choice is always going to be yours. But at the end of the day, I want to stress this. You're not the problem. You never have been the problem. It's just that you have problems inside of you that you have got to conquer one by one. And that is with your warrior. And as long as you can conquer those problems one by one with your warrior, the game actually changes, because, you're actually setting the standard. And if you can set the standard as a result to these things, women are going to be more intrigued with you. They're going to be more apt to want to talk to you, and they're going to want to see who you are about, because you're an oddity. And I know that sounds crazy, but you become actually an oddity. So that's the question. What do you want to do? What do you want to become? Because you can become these things when you learn this. So just guys, remember this little conversation that we're having, and please understand this. At the end of the day, don't ever feel like you're a problem. You're not a problem. There's nothing wrong with you. Hey, listen, if there was something wrong with you, no disrespect, you know what I'm about to say, you never would have reached the egg. You're here now. You're the winner. So the problem is just concepts and the ways that you see the world. So just realize, don't beat yourself down, and don't be down on yourself. Just remember, at the end of the day, you're not the problem. You're just somebody that has problems. And if you have problems, guess what? You can also have solutions. Just remember that, guys. That's the beautiful thing about the game, man.